Ever since I was a little wee tot, I've dreamt of building a castle, so now that I'm nearly past old age, here it comes! Come in now. It's a while since you've been here.
Look at this.
If you don't have a dream in life, well then you never can achieve it, do you?
It's probably one of those things. We all buggered off and did other things, and we've all ended up back in the same wee buddy patch of ground.
Stop it, please.
You can say we're rocking. It's not too much doom and gloom down here.
Look, if you can get out of bed in the morning, it's a celebration. The farm we're on here now was the only one for sale at the time. No one wanted it. Stones. You couldn't get electric fence standing in because you'd jam it in and just about dislocate your wrist.
You brought your wife down to a gravel pit, she said.
That's right. We had no money, 3 mortgages, went through Rogernomics. We just kept the head above water, did the 22% interest rates, but the production was so poor at the time that you could only improve.
I just had no money, so I grew seeds and filled the garden with flowers, and then I dried them. And that's how the whole business started. In the end, I asked Neil if I could have the first bay of his implement shed.
So how many bays was this implement shed?
A 6-bay implement shed.
And so how long did it take you to take the whole thing over?
6 years, 1 a year.
It's interesting that you can have a sort of shopping complex miles from Oamaru in the middle of the countryside.
If you are good at anything, people will come. If you're mediocre at things, well then it doesn't work.
And you're damn good.
I'm passionate about shopping. I'm a woman's dream and a man's nightmare.
No one really would have guessed that a restaurant in Oamaru would win Restaurant of the Year.
I think not many people think a restaurant in Oamaru is going to be any good, full stop. But no, it's just at the end of the day, it's just about what you put on the plate, you know. And
How many people would you do on an average weekend?
I'd hate to think.
Those humble old dairy cows, they're the grunt behind it all.
You moved to Oamaru to a gravel pit essentially. How many farms have you got now?
Dot and I own or part owners of 5 dairy farms. Mike's got one of his own, 6.
That's your son?
That's the son, and that encompasses about 4,000 cows in total, those 6 farms.
So you've got 6 or 7 properties between you?
Yep, and then we've got this little block. And we've got
You're
Archie's.
doing all right in this country, aren't you?
Oh, this New Zealand's good for us. Land of opportunity.
The one thing that's said about your parents is that they're incredibly hard workers.
Work like dogs their whole life. People look at what they've got now and say, oh, aren't you lucky? Or going overseas on a holiday, oh, aren't you lucky? Work bloody hard for it. 20 years of cow shit and fertiliser and water.
we were lucky enough privileged to have a couple of trips overseas to the UK, and she started talking about these bloody castles. And I said, look Dot, we all don't mind going to have a look at the castle, but not many people want to live in the bloody thing. And I thought it'd be a 5-minute wonder, but no, she hung in there and hung there. So I took her by the hand one day out there when she was a bit grumpy, and I said, just stand there. There was a bit of snow on the Kakanui Mountains behind us, and I said, can you imagine if I dug you a hole in the ground there and we put a little island on there? Could you just imagine a wee castle?
I was here in the office about 7 o'clock one Thursday night, phone rang, and this slightly croaky voice said to me, hello, you don't know me, but my name is Dot Smith and I want to build a castle. And I thought, right. The construction of the lake itself, it was an incredible process, and it was 3 months of 3 giant machines moving gravel off the property down the road to the cement and shingle works. Then the whole process that they had to go through to puddle the bottom of the lake to get it waterproof. Yeah.
So that alone,
Unbelievable.
Was
Unbelievable. And the compacting of the island, and it was just
and that's before you've even started.
before we'd even begun to start. So yeah. And while all that was happening, I was completing the drawings. It had to be masonry, complete masonry, massive, passive, insulated on the outside, everything that would give it substance.
Dot, most people your age, forgive me, would be scaling down, not
No,
building a
I'm
castle.
scaling up. I've lived in a little wee tent all my life, and so I've only had one cupboard in my house for so long. So now I'm having what I can to spread my wings.
This is the outdoor living area here.
Yeah, that's outdoor living area. The little conservatory will be here,
Okay.
and then we duck under the beam.
And what about that little island out there? What's happening out there?
We'll put a little gazebo out there with a spa bath in it, so you can look out over the lake in the afternoon. Or...
That'd be nice, it sounds lovely.
So now we're in the scullery,
Right, okay. God, you're getting posher by the moment.
and then this is the main entrance here. Doring, straight there. This has a 10-metre tower. It'll be 10 metres high at the top here.
With lions down the steps, is that what's happening?
Yes.
That's very, very posh.
I've bought the lions. They're copper.
Well, the foundations were major because there is, although there's 2 levels above ground, there is a 3rd level under the ground, small but substantial dungeon, and originally 20 metres of tunnels, but we ended up extending the tunnels, but doubled the length of the tunnels.
So there's 40 metres of tunnels in that place?
Yeah, one long tunnel, yeah, out from the dungeon area, and then 2 stories beyond that.
Here it is, Dot, your dream coming true.
It is, Mel, isn't it? Getting amazing to look at now, even though it's a bit black like Darth Vader's castle.
Gosh, it's magnificent, isn't it?
It's hard to imagine when you see it like this what it'll look like when it's all got its glory on it. Lovely ceilings and floors and beautiful plaster work. So come into my kitchen, Mel. The scullery's going to be there, the sink and the cookers. And then this is the outdoor eating area, which will be fantastic.
Right into the dairy farm.
We can see the cows making the money for me out in the paddock. And now, Mel, welcome to the secret dungeon. This is a great place. I love this place. And now we're going through the secret passage. Of course, you don't know it's a secret passage because it'll have some way of hiding it. There's going to be a big wooden door here, so you won't see right up the secret passage. And then when you get to about this area here, there's going to be a big iron grill door.
So where does the water come to?
The water, actually, Mel, will come right up to here.
Is it going to come in here?
Row right up and tie your boat on the hook.
So you can use it as an exit or an entrance.
If you know the password. Mel, these are the big stones that we're going to cover the whole outside of the castle with. They come from Oamaru.
So you just about need your own quarry, wouldn't you?
Well, lucky for us, Mel, there's one just up the road. These are the huge blocks that they take out of the quarry, and then they shape them with a big saw and cut them into the different shapes that we need to build the house. Look at his face! Isn't he gorgeous?
So, there and there. So what's happening?
Ta-da, ta-da! Did you make my doorstep big enough? He'll be like this. Come in, Belle. It's a while since you've been here.
Look at this. It's incredible.
It's a work in progress. We're still...
It's a work of art.
As you can see today, there's men everywhere, which is fantastic.
And these are marble floors.
They're beautiful, aren't they?
Aren't they?
The chandeliers aren't up yet, but we'll get them up in a week or so. I've just been gilding the little flowers on the claws. I saw that idea when I was in France last year. You find little touches all over the countries. I knight you. Get a skirt off.
It's often said that your wife, Dot, never does things by halves, and you'd certainly say that again looking behind you.
Bit like that, isn't it? Like a dog on the chain with me hanging onto the chain, she's pulling like hell.
Is that what it's been like?
Well, a bit like that, but we're both actually right into it. If you're going to do it, you're going to do it, aren't you?
Well, you've done it, that's for sure.
Well, yeah, a bit of a challenge, but 4 years, people say, why did it take so long? But the time is actually your friend, because you can change, you can think. It gives the subbies a chance to come back with new ideas. So what it started off is totally different, and it's an adventure really. And you get times that are tough, but you just tough it out, get through, and someone will come up with something. And too many people say you can't do it. You get alongside the guys that say you can, and that just gives you energy. It's massive.
This place here is built to last. Yeah. It's
How
not
long?
a good 200 to 300 years. So it's a bit different than your normal house, which is 50 years. And sometimes your roof only lasts 25. The concrete and the foundations and the amount of steel in the place is just, yeah.
So we've got 540 cubic metres of concrete, there's 20,000 concrete blocks and 150 tonne of balsed Oamaru stone. And then all around the top of the main building is those giant concrete precast castellations, and I've got no idea how many tonnes they weigh. So it's a pretty massive building. But the amazing thing about it all is that the whole building is going to be heated geothermally from pipes laid on the base of that lake. So as a building to heat and run, once the concrete dries out over the next year or so and the building comes up to temperature, it's going to be an incredibly comfortable and efficient, amazing building really.
So this is actually a piece of wallpaper.
Really?
And the boys had a hilarious time putting it up, as you can imagine, getting up on the scaffolding and having the paper draped all around the back, gluing all the top on. And when I got halfway through gluing it on, I looked at it and I thought, that's strange. I think they've got it round the wrong way. So poor Paul, I said to him, Paul, I think you better take it down and move it round the other way.
He's the wallpaper man.
And put the feet forward instead of the head. So we did that, and then when we got it, he was starting to glue it back up. I said, oh sorry, it was around the right way to begin with. So it's a Roman battle scene, and I really don't know the legend, but I love the thought of the woman with all the power separating the armies.
How long have you been coming up here to do the ceilings?
Probably over a year now, backwards and forwards.
That'd be a bit of a dying art doing this, wouldn't it?
It is indeed.
And how do you make them?
There's a series of running plaster moulds with tin templates and a lot of silicone rubber to get for the finer detail stuff with undercuts. And this one here is actually a 3D printed.
And have you done these columns behind as well?
Yep.
So you've done all these ceilings?
All the ceilings, yep.
Oh, you must be pretty proud to be working in the castle, are you?
Yes. It's a very neat job. Love it.
So this all looks pretty interesting up here.
What we've done here is try to create a night sky, and so this was all assembled on the ground like a big giant easel, and we got a screenshot of the night sky.
Yeah.
And blew it up to this size, marked all the stars on it where they were supposed to be, put it over this, and then pre-drilled all the holes once this was on, and then brought all our fibre optics through to create the stars. And so as you lie in bed, the night sky should be fairly true. So that's what we've tried to create.
Well, it wouldn't be every day that you'd be doing something like this, would it?
No, it's the first one of these I've done.
What's it like working for Dot?
When I first met her, I arrived before she did, and of course she came in and no introduction, just said, are you him? And I said, oh, I think so. And she said, all I want to know is can you make my weird and wonderful doors? And I said, if it started off as a tree, then I believe I can. And that was the conversation.
And then she left.
Then she left.
She's got a great mind. Yeah, it's been a really fun project. Just, we've learned a lot about castles.
Yeah,
We've got different doors, and it's been a very good experience, and we've thoroughly enjoyed it. Very unique project.
When you look around at your castle,
I love it.
are you proud of it?
I am. I love it. Who couldn't love it?
Never in your lifetime, not in these modern days, would you get a chance to do a building like this that incorporates all these elements that belong from 100, 500 years back. You just don't get a chance anymore.
So you must feel very privileged.
Yeah, I do. I feel incredibly privileged and quite humble, really, because I think that what she's achieved is mind-boggling, absolutely mind-boggling.
24 hours a day you think about the castle. Even when you're supposed to be fast asleep and tucked up in your bed, you're still thinking about what can you do to do things better, and what can you afford, and how can I do it so it looks grand but not cost huge money. And
So you've been thinking like that for 4 years?
I have. Imagine the space that's going to be in there when the castle's finished.